How many people was it?
10, 15, a lot. They were doing like a drug bust or something.
Yeah, you can tell in Zach's mugshot that he has a big bruise on the left side of his face.
Yeah, they slammed him against the floor in the foyer. He had bruises on his knees, his face. They slammed him on the floor. And I hate to say this, but I don't sleep in clothes, so they arrested me in my bed naked, put me in a cruiser with no clothes. I sat in the back of that cruiser from 11:30 to about 4 a.m. naked in the back seat of that cruiser while they searched our house for God knows what. They seized the house, everything inside of it, all of our cars on the property. They took our house because they think there was extra money coming in from somewhere, and we're like in our 30s and we have this big giant house, and they didn't think we could afford it. Me and Zach worked our butts off for everything we've had. And they called me out front again for fingerprints, and I saw the new charges that they're putting against, I'm assuming both of us. There's 17 charges.
I mean, are you worried about the boys or where they are? Or
I mean, yeah, but I definitely can't talk about that.
I don't want to say it, but brace yourself for the truth, okay? Just don't give up, honest. You talk to Zach, tell him I still love him.
I can't cry right now around other people. I just need somebody who doesn't hate us.
It's your boy Crypto Blood. Oh my God, the Zest monsters have been caught, ladies and gentlemen. Round of applause. Yeah. Another couple of Zest monsters have been taken off the streets. Actually, this case is not new at all. Their sentencing is just breaking headlines. And a lot of people are, including myself, I didn't even know about this case until I heard they got slapped with 100 years. 100 years.
40 years. He had 40 years? 40 years.
This case goes back to 2022 out in Georgia, suburbs of Atlanta. Should not be no shock there, but it is not a funny matter, actually. Very sad. And you know what's even sadder is that two things, it's a black eye on the LGBT community. Very bad PR event for them. I don't know what they're going to do with that. And secondly, it's a bad look on the Christian community. You may ask why. I'm going to tell you why in a little bit as I'll explain how this all came about. And I'm not throwing Christians as a whole under the bus. It's just that this is a recurring thing, why they're losing members, why the Christian community is losing members is because they're not sticking to their roots. They're not sticking to what the Bible says. They're bending. It's not about a hate or being hateful towards groups or other groups. You just got to have a line in the sand that you draw and that you don't pass. You don't cross over. And you don't allow the people that throw that flag to cross over it either. The Muslim faith is growing by leaps and bounds, and I think it's because it's a lot more strict in how they go about things. Now, listen, Muslims ain't perfect either, and there is no perfect person on this planet, but I'm just giving you my two satoshis on that. But again, I'll explain to you how this all ties into the Christian community. What we have here is a horrible story of two gay married men who adopted two kids. So the kids were already in a up situation, and what do these Zest monsters do? They ruin their lives even further, pimping them out to other pedophiles in the area. It's just very sad. It makes me sick to my stomach to hear this. I feel so bad for those kids. They'll never be the same after this situation, but I'm glad they are out of that situation. They've been rescued from those Zest monsters. But let's take a look at the article, and again, I'll fold into how this relates to the Christian community and what I think the Christian community should be doing going forward if they want to regain members. They're losing members left and right. Out of the New York Post, gay couple who showed off picture perfect family gets 100 years.
40 years. He had 40 years? 40 years.
For horrific, of adopted sons. Absolutely disgusting. So they're basically going to spend the rest of their lives behind bars, as they should. Zach and William, 34 and 36 respectively, were sentenced this past week to 100 years in prison without the possibility of parole. In Walton County, the two defendants truly created a house of horrors and put their extremely dark desires above everything and everyone else. Now, just to really quickly recap, what you heard at the beginning of this video was a leaked audio of a relative of, I think, William, in which they were having a conversation in jail because they've been in jail for some time now. and they were explaining what had gone down. And you can hear in William's voice, he had no remorse. He's like, they're trying to take our homes away because they don't know how we afford all these cars and nice things. Well, now we do know. You've been pimping out your kids. Disgusting, right? So you hear the lack of remorse in their voices. I'm so glad they got the book thrown at them, to be honest with you. Great to see this happen. So the couple raised the adopted kids under this so-called picture perfect guise of an affluent Atlanta suburban gay family. Zach being in banking and William in government held a dark secret. The couple were regularly forcing the boys to have blank with them and would film them to make dirty young people's films. I'll say that because I don't want this to get any censorship. We need to get this out to as many people, and I'm going to talk about that as well in a second. Evidence showed that they even bragged about the abuse to twisted friends, with one story from police saying that they sent Snapchat messages reading, "I'm going to F my son tonight, stand by." This is ridiculous. I can't even read the rest of this, man. This is ridiculous. But here's the thing. This is what's disturbing about this situation. There's two things I want to opine on. I want to give you my two satoshis on today, ladies and gents. Two things that stood out to me, because I always, if I'm going to bring a story to you, I'm going to pull out some things that I feel like you should know more about, or special, that makes you say, why is this going on? How did this happen? Have you heard this in the news anywhere? Not really, right? I haven't heard this on national news yet. Now, just to make sure, let's go ahead and go to Google and see what we have here. So I'm seeing stuff from National Post. So we saw the article from the New York Post. They're usually right to center. Fox News is right. People.com, probably more on the left, but no major news outlets. I don't see anything from NBC, CBS. This is on Google. This should have been on the front page, right? They know how to be front page on everything else. You know what I mean? Everything else but the shit that doesn't, push their narrative. So I don't see anything from MSNBC, NBC, ABC, CBS. Where y'all at? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So that lets you know where mainstream media lies. And what's even more sickening is it's not even about being gay or not being gay. Like, cool, I don't have a problem with gays. Most people don't have a problem with gays. But see, here's the problem. The mainstream media, they're not even talking about the sadistic subset of LGBT who are, files and abusing kids and all that stuff. They won't even bring that up, because they want to protect them too. This is why I can't support mainstream media. This is why you shouldn't be supporting mainstream media. And this is why you're not supporting mainstream media. You're watching outlets like mine and others on alternative media services and networks. They've gone too far. Politically, they went too far. They go too far with this LGBT stuff. And here's yet another example. Now, when it comes to, I said at the beginning, I was going to tie you into how this has to do with Christianity. Again, I'm not throwing everybody under the bus at all. Much respect to anyone who follows their whatever religion. You follow that to a T. Much respect to you. That takes discipline. And I ain't got nothing but utmost respect for you. However, why is this even a thing right here? Not only did they, what to the two kids, but they adopted them through a Christian special needs adoption agency. Like, what's going on here, man? I'm sure there are Muslim adoption agencies out there, right? Islamic adoption agencies. Would they allow a gay couple to adopt? I'm not saying that's right or wrong, but I'm just saying, where's the line drawn with Christianity? And it seems like this has been the theme over the last 10 years. We've been going in that direction. The line is being erased, right? It's being erased. I think the Christian community needs to really start to stand up a little bit more, a little bit stronger against a lot of this new age progressive thought. And, maybe people that aren't saved, can have some more respect for those who call themselves Christians. So this is out of control. I can't believe that this was even allowed, because we know what it says in the Bible about gays. I didn't write it. I'm just telling you what it says in there, right? So another prime example. So those two things, we're not seeing anything in the mainstream media about this story. I just did a search on Google. Should have been top of the list. Definitely should have been that. Nowhere near. You didn't see no MSNBC, no NBC, no ABC, no CBS, no CNN. It's your boy Crypto Blood. Make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe, and click that bell to receive more videos like this. I'm out of here, people. Holla.
Yo, it's crypto blood, Detroit flow, screaming from the D, knowing what to show. Indicators are on point, OG since 12, invested in trade, living life like a pro.